on Verulam in the Morning now, we're joined by two final year students at the University of Hertfordshire, Connor Hutton and Joe Theodosi. Now, Connor and Joe are putting together a film. Connor is the director, Joe is the script supervisor. And good morning, gentlemen. So tell us a little bit about this film first.
So Dearest Brother is about a man called Isaac, it's based in the 1800s. He receives a letter from his brother, and turns out his brother's been ill. So he travels to his aid and finds himself plunged into this new and strange community, which is basically essentially a cult. And yeah, it's really exciting because it's the biggest film I think anyone at least in our group has done so far. So we're all really excited for this.
It's quite ambitious, isn't it? You've set it in the 18th century, so that in itself must have its own challenges about basically getting actors in costume and all that kind of stuff, does it?
Yeah, usually doing like a period type drama or thriller is more of a cost issue, just because you have to buy a certain wardrobe and set design. Like, you have to make it accurate to that time period. You can't just have modern day stuff in the background, and so it's a lot more planning and just like getting to grips of what everyone would specifically wear during that time period. But I think we enjoy the challenge that it's setting us.
Excellent. So fair bit of research involved in that then, right? About how people lived their lives then, what they wore, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think what makes it easier for us a little bit is because we're creating our own cult. We can sort of cheat that a little bit.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they'll wear white robes or they'll wear this, and a lot of the set design and costume is down to Monica, our set costume and set designer. She's been pulling a lot of the weight through this because it is probably one of the biggest aspects of our film, besides the amazing acting and script.
And how many of you are there working on this film?
There's 13 of us on this film. So,
okay,
yeah,
so it's a big crew.
Yeah.
And this is part of a course. Tell us a bit about your course and what you've done over the last 3 years.
So first year, they sort of introduce everything to us. So just to familiar every student with the gear, like what each genre of like film and TV there is. So you do like a documentary, a drama, and then you'd also do a studio project where you get put into sort of like a live studio for television, like setting. And the second year, it's basically just an extension of that, but you just introduced to more tech and more complex like routines. And then third year, it's all focused down on one major project, like one major film that you work towards the entire year. It's not you do a load of separate mini projects, it's just one big one.
Right, and you're using everything that you've learnt in the first couple of years and then really trying to put it into practice, right?
Yeah, you sort of collect all for like the past 2 years, you just collect all your knowledge and you put it towards the area you specifically want to work in on that project, and you sort of just give it your all in that area.
Now, presumably you've had extra challenges this year with the pandemic. How has that been?
Yeah, we've also had to take that on board quite significantly. We've had to include quite a lot of COVID protocols. We've had to take like COVID tests and like sort of just learn about how to sort of organize each individual crew member, such as lighting, keeping them separate from like the actual actors and keeping them separate from like the sound crew, and how that's going to play out on the actual day on set.
It's also actually added a new role as well. We now have a COVID support officer on set, which is basically a person that like make sure everything is safe, make sure we're wiping down equipment, everyone's putting their masks on, everyone that doesn't need to have a mask off, like actors, will have to wear a mask constantly throughout the shoot, even if you're doing exterior shots. But yeah, it's come out like it's a bit more organized in some ways, but a bit more like we're losing the touch a little bit with
we're just doing Zoom meetings most of the time.
Yes. So how challenging is it being a student during this coronavirus pandemic? How's it changed your student life third year compared to your first 2 years?
I mean, it just means we can just wake up and just do the lecture in bed rather than just go in.
And why do students always focus on how long they can stay in bed? Go on.
No, I know. You can literally just get up, like get Zoom up on your phone and just lay in bed. So, I mean, in that perspective, I guess it's easier.
It's easier, but you lose a bit of the touch of university, and especially with creative courses like us, we love to have this interaction with everyone, the lecturers. That's what's also really like annoying for first years, is they're losing the social aspect a little bit of the film and TV course where you're meeting everyone, and it's just they've lost their. It's alright for second and third years because we all know each other at this point, but first years don't really, so it's a bit annoying for them.
Yeah, that must be very hard. And as we please come out of this, maybe into the summer, there's going to be a lot of catching up for first year students, isn't there, around, getting to know people, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
That's tough. Right, so tell us, when does this film get finally made? When can it be seen? And where can we learn out more about the project?
So the film, we're filming in February, and then hopefully we'll release it around April. And you can find us on Instagram at Dearest Brother Film. Same with Facebook, Twitter, and if any of your listeners have a TikTok, you can go on there as well. We've got a lot of great content coming on there. And recently we've been releasing crew headshots and a little bit of information about them as well.
So you're also doing that sort of marketing aspect of the film as well as you would with a film you were making in industry, as it were, right?
Yeah, we're sort of tackling more like online media and like social accounts, so creating content for different platforms and just sort of different visual assets, like countdown to, let's say, the fundraiser or the final release of the film. Once we, hire actors, we can start getting like professional posters made and final posters, and then just doing like a lot more visual creative assets to put on the social media to gain more traffic from our audience.
Yeah.
So
and give the film the long sort of build up, right? I mean, it's what happens with a Bond movie before it's even started, right? So same kind of thing. So it's at Dearest Brother Film, is that right? If we look on various social media.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Well, look, the very best of luck. Why not come back and talk to us again in February or March when you're nearing the end of the project, because we'd love to hear how it's gone and how you've dealt with the challenges that life is throwing at you. Connor Hutton and Joe Theodosi, they're two of the 13 crew on a film called Dearest Brother that's being made at the University of Hertfordshire as part of their course. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Have a lovely day.